y vamos a concluir este primer bloque del Congreso con la entrega del premio excelente en el ámbito tecnológico educativo a Rapelang Rabana, que es fundadora y CEO de Rekindle Learning. Antes vemos un vídeo para situarnos sobre este personaje tan interesante que vamos a recibir ahora.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rapelang. This began a long journey into telecommunications, a learning experience that improves organizational performance. Mobile voice over IP applications to address the educational development challenges on this continent.
Rapelang Rabana es una emprendedora tecnológica. Ella fundó esa empresa en el año 2013. Es una empresa digital que ofrece herramientas para la medición de los progresos, de los avances en la enseñanza, también, lógicamente, para medir cómo va el aprendizaje. A veces estamos enseñando, pero no sabemos exactamente en qué estación pasamos, ¿no? Se trata de reducir, es su objetivo, la brecha tecnológica en África y dotar a las nuevas generaciones de mayores oportunidades. Ella fue nombrada Entrepreneur for the World 2014 por el foro World Entrepreneurships y elegida en la portada de Forbes África en su número dedicado a emprendedores menores de 30 años. En 2015, el Foro Económico Mundial la designó como una de las 15 mujeres que están cambiando el mundo. Así que vamos con este premio, con el cual concluiremos esta parte, después continuaremos después de comer, y va a entregar el premio la directora general de Madrid Excelente, Alejandra Polacci. Recoge el premio la propia Rapelang Rabana, que después ofrecerá unas palabras. Miss Rabana, please.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me here today. It's really a great honor. In the 2 days I've been here, unfortunately, I haven't quite learned how to speak Spanish, so you'll have to excuse me as I address you in English. Ladies and gentlemen, special guests, dignitaries, partners, sponsors, and everyone present, all protocol observed. I've had a very interesting journey to this stage. I was born in Botswana, and I've lived in South Africa for most of my life. And I've come to see that we've got a lot of things in common between here and Southern Africa. I've heard that you guys also have a lot of political challenges and scandals, and we have a lot of those too. And I've enjoyed a lot of your special Spanish ham. I believe it's called Hamas. And we have something similar called biltong, which is a bit drier but tastes quite similar. So I think I could be at home here in Spain. Let me tell you a bit about my journey. I was 22 years old when I graduated from university, the University of Cape Town in 2006, and I started my entrepreneurship journey. So I've been in technology as an entrepreneur for the last 10 years now. My first business, Yego, developed software in telecommunications and was bought by a Swiss company, Telfree, in 2009. And now I'm working on my latest venture, Rekindle Learning, around using applications for improving learning. This 10-year journey has convinced me that the internet and technology is a really, really powerful tool for prosperity and how it empowers young people, particularly the impact it's had on my life. And I like to think of this empowerment in three major principles: information, influence, and inclusion. The access to information that the internet made possible for us as students graduating from the University of Cape Town, it allowed us straight from university to essentially sit inside an apartment with some cheap laptops and internet and develop some of the world's earliest mobile voice over IP applications. Basically, those are Skype-like applications, but on cell phones, and back in 2006, it was still quite new. We taught ourselves literally everything we needed to know about the internet on Google, about how to run the business, how to build the software, and we literally Googled our way here. If you can go to the next slide, I don't think the clicker's working. Such is the leveling and inclusive power of the internet that it allowed a group of students with no capital or social connections to speak of at all to build some world-class software that would launch our careers to where they are today. This is the power of those three I's: information, influence, and inclusion. And it's what makes me so excited about technology. I've taken this belief about the internet and technology into a new space around learning and education through Rekindle Learning. Africa is one of the youngest continents in the world, and if we want to address the development challenges that we face today, I believe that we need to leapfrog the skills gap that we currently face. If we were to emerge as a global leader, we can't keep learning the same way we've been doing so far. So in Rekindle Learning, I look for innovative ways to change learning efficiency, both in academic institutions as well as in corporates and in companies. Most of the time, though, when we all talk about e-learning, we literally take the same PowerPoint presentation that we had or some PDF file and we put it online and we call it e-learning. And while that might make it more accessible, it actually hasn't changed the way we learn. It hasn't made it more efficient to master information, and it hasn't made it quicker to transfer knowledge. And unless you actually build in a powerful methodology behind it, you haven't fundamentally improved learning, and we haven't leapfrogged anything. So one of our solutions is an application that you can use on a mobile phone or a tablet that you can use after lectures if you're a student or after a corporate training workshop if you're an employee to practice what was presented and reinforce everything that you learned there. The application asks you a series of questions to make sure you understand and personalizes it so that you can focus on the areas that you're struggling with more. In a way, it's almost like how my mother behaved towards me when I was at school. She was very involved in my education, and after school, she would always ask me, so what did you learn today? Ask me questions about that, and check which things I didn't know or had understood incorrectly. So the same way I learned my maths times tables, she would repeatedly ask me questions, and because she knew me so well, she would ask the ones that I knew less and I struggled with the most. And if I got it wrong, we would discuss why I had gotten it wrong. So this application behaves almost like my mother, for those people that don't have a very active mother around them. We work with organizations, whether it's a company or university or a school, to enable them to put their content into this powerful learning methodology as opposed to just printing out textbooks and presentations. So it's a form of blended learning and supports the classroom environment so that it's not necessarily saying that we don't need classroom or face-to-face time. It's about saying that there's certain things that technology can do better, like personalized reinforcement, that we can do there and rather use classroom time for more complex or high-touch learning processes to discuss, to debate, to criticize, to compare. In some of the trials that we've done, learners who prepared for exams using this personalized reinforcement method were able to improve their symbols by 10%, which is a whole grade compared to learners who use the typical materials. And within company environments, people who prepared for their sales training courses using our tools could increase their sales conversion rates by 20%. In the US, there's been a great deal of research around this kind of methodology where they looked at various methodologies that one can apply to try to improve learner achievement in schools. So for example, we often think that having teachers with higher levels of education or paying teachers better or having better quality preschool or having smaller classrooms, all of those kinds of things will ultimately improve learner achievement. And while they all have some role to play, the most cost-effective way identified in these studies is that this personalized reinforcement was the most cost-effective way to dramatically improve learner achievement, particularly in core sciences and maths and English and the like. So it's essentially, I've talked about how we use those kind of platforms for any kind of content. And of late, we started to developing our own content and taking that to market, specifically focusing on English language in South Africa. Like here, most students who come to school at university are not first language English speakers. And while we find that their spoken English is all right, their written English often lags behind, particularly given the poor schooling environment that many learners face. So essentially, we've developed a platform that allows them to reinforce their language structure and grammar. And we've removed the burden from educators who don't really want to teach grammar and language structure. And they would rather focus on more high-level learning processes, like your essays and presentations. So we've had almost 15,000 learners register last year using the tool to help them improve their learning as a semester course at university, and it contributes to their broader language skills and communication skills. So that's just a quick view of some of the things that we've been doing around personalized reinforcement and learning. Next month, I will be in Cartagena in Colombia, where I'll discuss different kinds of tools, specifically how we can empower young people there who are currently unemployed to be able to enter the call center and business processing environment. I'm not sure if anything's changed there. And while I'll be there, it's again a Spanish community there where I'll be looking at how tools can be used there to reduce the time to competency for young people to build skills so that they can become more attractive to be employed by large organizations. And if we can reduce the training time from 6 months to 2 months or 1 month, suddenly it becomes a lot more compelling for organizations to employ young people. And those are some of the ambitions I have. It's not just about delivering content online, but how do we use technologies to dramatically improve the efficiency with which we learn so that we can build skills and competencies a lot faster. In closing and looking at my own journey, I know conclusively that the only way that I would have been able to travel this journey and take so many steps in just a short 10 years, from being a 22-year-old graduate to building innovative companies, to speaking at platforms like the World Economic Forum and to the cover of Forbes Africa, and to be here today to receive this very prestigious award. It would only have been possible through the power of the internet and technology and what it makes possible through those 3 I's of information, inclusion, and influence. Let my personal story and my journey and my work with Rekindle Learning indicate to you that this is clear evidence that the internet and technology can dramatically change the rate of development, particularly on continents like Africa. Thank you so much for your time. Gracias.